What's going on, guys? Welcome to the Shark Tank. We are Brad and Brian. We are going to be talking today about some players that a lot of people are panicking on early in the season. We just want to kind of touch on those, talk about if your panic level is warranted and what you guys could possibly do with those players. We are Fantasy Football Sharks. This is episode 3. We are in week 3 of the NFL season. Let's go ahead and get this started.
So the first player we're going to talk about is Derrick Henry.
So Derrick Henry, he's got his jersey on, go figure. This guy, Derrick Henry, we're going to talk about his ADP first. His ADP on ESPN, we're going off full PPR, was RB4. He was picked in the 5th slot. Currently, he is sitting at RB36. So we're looking at a pretty big discrepancy from when he was picked to what he's actually ranked. Just to kind of get on with his stats. Game 1, he went for 21 carries, 82 yards. Game 2, he had 13 carries for 25 yards. He also had a touchdown in that game. So a lot of people are saying, what are we going to do with Derrick Henry? Do we sell? Do we keep him? Do we stash him? What are we doing? Brad, what are you doing with him?
I am keeping him. I'm high on him. If you look at his remaining schedule, or not remaining schedule, next 5 games, you got Las Vegas, Indy, Washington, bye week, Indy, then Houston. So I didn't expect him to come out firing. He just come off that injury. He had a lot of touches the first game, and then he went straight into Buffalo, which I did not expect a big game out of him in Buffalo. So I was kind of expecting what's going on with him, and I think this is the week that he gives you what you're looking for, gives you what you drafted. And from here on out, I think he's going to be your man.
See, I'm going to go the opposite direction. This is where we're going to disagree. This is going to happen all year long, so please don't be alarmed. We won't agree a lot. So I'm going to name 3 guys. Eno Benjamin, Jeff Wilson Jr., who's only played 1 game, and Dontrell Hilliard, the other running back for Tennessee. What do these 3 guys have in common? Other than you probably don't have them on your football team. It's going to be that they're ahead of Derrick Henry right now. When you've got a guy that you took in the first round, you want production and you want it soon. You come off a big injury. He's on the north side of 28. To me, when you get to that north side of 28, even when you're healthy, you become a little bit more susceptible to injury and decline. The problem he has going for him right now is his offensive line is the worst he's played behind. The age, of course, that's not going to go in his favor. He's coming off that major injury. And then also losing A.J. Brown, I don't think until Traylon Burks steps into that role of wide receiver 1 that he's going to have anybody to relieve that box pressure. For me, I sell. I'm selling big on him. I don't have him. If I did, it would be a sell for me. But Brian also does bring up a good point with his schedule coming up. He has a favorable schedule once he gets into the meat of it. So if you got him and you still have confidence in him, great. I would be a little nervous starting him. I mean, for me, I'm selling him. But once again, it's up to you. I just think that you can get better value elsewhere.
Unfortunately, neither one of us have him on our fantasy squad.
Fortunately.
So if you were selling them, I would be buying him.
He's
And
looking to buy him.
I would be trading for him at this moment. It's the perfect time to get him. Perfect time to get him at a lower price than what you would have drafted him at. And I think it's a perfect opportunity.
I will say this though: if you went 0 RB and you're just absolutely struggling at the running back position, maybe you could trade for him. I mean, he's still going to have games where he booms. So I wouldn't be against trading for him. I'm just a little nervous with him moving forward. So use caution with him. Hopefully he bounces back. But like I said, I'm not seeing it happen. Just use your best discretion with that. We're going to move on to another running back though that. Wow, if you've got this guy, you're not in good shape. This is going to be Ezekiel Elliott. His ADP, according to ESPN, is in the 30th spot, which is RB16. Currently, he is performing at an RB48, which is 32 spots lower. Brad, I'm going to let you start on Zeke, and then I'll kind of chime in with you.
I do not think he's startable. I don't think you can start him. I have him in 2 leagues. One's a dynasty league, one's a redraft league, and he's on my bench. And I don't think it's going to get any better for him. He looks decent when he gets the opportunities, but the opportunities just are not there. I know Pollard's taken a lot from him, and Pollard seems a lot more explosive than he is, and He just doesn't have that ability to touch the ball 20 times a game, which he needs to put up good numbers.
Now, with Zeke, for me, I'm going to name another guy here. I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Xander Horvath. I'll let you give you a minute to Google that. But he is actually ranked ahead of Zeke as running back. That's just sad. Zeke at 48. That's not even a flex guy anymore. So for me, Zeke's on your bench. I don't know if you can sell him at this point. I wouldn't drop him, but I'm definitely stashing him.
Yeah, definitely don't drop him. Stash him, see what happens. Maybe don't turn it around. Dak, they're saying maybe 4 weeks and he's back in the lineup. It could be 8 weeks. Nobody really knows, but definitely do not drop him. If you can get some kind of value out of him in a trade, that's an option. But at this point, I don't think you can start him.
I agree. So on Zeke, we're both going to be saying that the panic level should be high. It's warranted. Definitely look to bench him or sell him. Just don't release him. You could probably get a little value back. I'm even okay trying to swap him for Tony Pollard with somebody because you can possibly get by on the name of Ezekiel Elliott. I think that's why he went so high in drafts, just because of his name. So sell him, stash him, but don't start him. We're going to go into one more set of running backs. This is going to be a duel guys that we're going to talk about. That's going to be Cam Akers and Darrell Henderson Jr.
Yeah, what do you do?
I can tell you what I'm going to do. We're going to get into that. So Cam Akers, you're looking at an ADP of 37th. That actually kind of surprised me. I didn't think that he went that high in most drafts. He was at RB18 in those drafts, so he was drafted as an RB2. Darrell Henderson, he was actually picked in the 128th pick on average with a RB42 tag with that. So extreme value at the end of the draft with Darrell Henderson. I'll let Brad touch on Akers first.
I mean, Akers, you're definitely freaking out because he was picked obviously way higher than Henderson. If you drafted Henderson, obviously with that round that he was drafted in, you didn't expect too much out of him, and you're not losing much from that draft pick. But Akers, on the other hand, people were high on him. You know, he's got that Achilles injury that he's not coming back from. I do think he looked a little bit quick, shifty in the last game. He had opportunities. He had 15 carries. As of game one, he had 3 carries for 0 yards, which everybody really freaked out. Obviously, it's only 1 week. There was plenty of time to rebound, but the way these running backs are headed, I think it's going to be a 50-50 split when it's all said and done, and you don't know which one to start or which one to bench, and I'm going to try to stay away from both of them.
So I think that with Akers and Henderson, we kind of are on the opposite end of the spectrums here. Week 1, Darrell Henderson owners were extremely happy. I mean, you couldn't have been more happy about the usage he got. Week 1, he went 14 for 47, but he also had those 5 catches for 26 yards. So a very productive day for a guy that you drafted as not even an RB5.
And then you see him catapult into all the starting lineups in week 2.
And then there comes Cam Akers. So what kills me is that the Henderson owners were big on week 1. I started on week 2, I'm not going to lie. Cam Akers came out in week 2 and got way more involved in the offense. We didn't see that coming, but he also, like you said, looked explosive. So Akers did only go for 15 for 45, but he took 3 targets, and that's where I'm concerned. Henderson had 0 targets in game 2 and only had a 10 for 47 stat line. Did save his day with a touchdown. That makes me a little more positive on Henderson just because I think he'll get that goal line work. As far as starting him, though, you can't really have a lot of confidence in either.
Yeah, he went from 5 targets week 1 to 0 targets week 2.
I think if you're using Darrell Henderson, you're using him as an RB2 probably on a 0 RB build. I've got him as my RB2. I have injuries on that team. I was pretty excited about him after week 1. I was on that hype train. Right now, though, my panic level is a little bit medium on both. I want to see how week 3 goes, where that usage comes from. If it goes more towards Cam Akers and keeps sliding on that curve, Henderson becomes not playable. I don't think either are playable this week, though, unless you absolutely are in a pinch and you have to start one of them.
Yeah, I think once the bye weeks come around and obviously more injuries start to happen, if one of them goes down, you might have a diamond in the rough there. So
we don't want to hope for injuries, but at the same time, you're kind of hoping for injuries, and I'm not wishing injury on anybody. But if you have one of the two and the other one goes down, you're absolutely right. you instantly get a fringe RB1. I think that's pretty much it for the running backs we'll talk about. Before we go on to the next category, which is going to be our wide receiver, if you guys find any value in this content, just click like, hit subscribe. We're going to be posting 3-4 times a week, going through in-depth breakdowns of lineups, who to pick up on the waiver wires, who to be starting, who to be sitting, who to fade. We greatly appreciate that. We're very new to this. We're just getting started, so our editing skills, we don't have them. Once we learn that, I promise the videos will get 100% better. But for now, you're just going to get to look at this, unfortunately. But that's going to bring us into our wide receiver that everybody is panicking on. We're going to go back to the Cowboys. We're going to pick on you guys a little bit, and it's going to be CeeDee Lamb. So CeeDee Lamb, let's talk him, Brad. What do you think?
I'm not worried about CeeDee Lamb. I know the whole Dak Prescott thing and then the whole Cooper Rush thing, everybody's kind of freaking out, but he's still getting the targets. 11 targets week 1, 11 targets week 2. He's bound to have a big game. He's getting the looks. I don't think there's so much concern for him. And I think Cooper Rush, he's not, Peyton Manning or anything, but he will get more comfortable as he, the more games he plays, and the targets are there. So I'm not freaking out about CeeDee Lamb. I think he's going to be fine. I don't think anybody needs to worry about anything. I mean, he did post 7 for 75 last week with 11 targets again, and that's not a bad game. So he actually played worse when it was Dak. So
I think a lot of the panic with CeeDee Lamb is coming from guys that drafted him as the wide receiver 1, and they're just not getting that production. So of the guys drafted in the top 2 rounds of wide receivers, CeeDee Lamb is the only one that's not producing at a clip of a wide receiver 1.
Yeah, we're getting these guys like Jefferson and Diggs.
We're spoiled with Kupp and these guys that are
Kupp
going for
and like all these guys that are just, if they keep on this pace, they're going to be breaking all kinds of records. So hopefully they slow down and CeeDee Lamb catches up to him, but we'll see what happens. But I don't think the concern level is high for him. I think,
Listen, if you've got CeeDee Lamb and you were benching him right now, don't do that. I saw so many people panicked and bench CeeDee Lamb week 2, and he actually had a decent game. He's getting, like I said, 11 targets a game. Don't panic yet. It's early in the season. I know we all do it. We panic. We buy way higher than we should, and we sell way lower than we should. 1 week is not gonna kill your season. CeeDee Lamb had 1 bad week, 1 okay week. I think you're gonna see his production grow. He's getting Michael Gallup back here soon. That's going to add a little pressure off of him because I think he's getting a lot of double teams right now. Zeke's not getting used. Pollard's not getting a lot of use. Dalton Schultz is getting no targets hardly.
The ball's got to go somewhere.
Got to throw the ball somewhere. And 11 targets a game, if you're telling me you're going to get a guy that has 11 targets a game with that much upside, I'm going to start him. So keep him in your lineups. Don't bench him yet. Now, if by week 6, we're still talking, hey, CeeDee Lamb's going for like 3 for 27 each week. We'll get into that then. But for now, if you don't have them and try to buy them low, now's the time to do it. Take a guy that's booming right now that you don't think is going to go and boom the rest of the year. Maybe try to make a move for CeeDee Lamb because I think down the line he's going to be a good receiver to have. So
I agree.
We're going to get off receivers though. We're going to leave the Cowboys alone. Can't stand them.
Move on to the tight end position.
We're going to go to Kyle Pitts.
Kyle Pitts.
Boy, I'm going to let you start this one because I got a lot to say.
Yeah, so weirdly, people think he did not live up to his expectations as a rookie, which he had a phenomenal rookie year. Over 1,000 yards for a rookie tight end you can't ask for much more than that. So obviously everybody's high on him this year. He's going to improve, get better, be your next Kelsey or Andrews or, that, but it's just not happening. I mean, he's a freak. He's like, 6'6", runs a 4.4. The potential's there.
It is.
The offense, I don't know if it's going to come together. I don't know if, how long Mariota's going to last in that offense, but.
I like what you said about is he the next Kelsey, because I think he is. The next Jason Kelsey. Dude is terrible. All he does is block. Guy's horrible. You guys drafted him. His ADP was 32, guys.
Not many tight ends come in and are effective right away. They don't come in, and the first 2 years, they're the stud tight end.
Now, if you take a look at my video that I did the other day, I did mention Kyle Pitts, and that season that he had was amazing, but it was all based off 3 games. If you're taking a guy that had 45 yards a game for 14 games, I don't want him. Not in the 3rd round. Kyle Pitts in like the 6th, 7th round, I would have snagged him up all day. But right now, you're only getting 2 catches for 13 yards a game. I'm sorry, 18 yards a game. So, you got a guy that you drafted ahead of guys like A.J. Brown, Amon-Ra St. Brown. He was way back, though. Even Deebo Samuel. I saw him go before Deebo in a lot of leagues. So, for me, Kyle Pitts was a guy that I was not touching this year at that ADP.
I think we're 1 year away from seeing a stud tight end.
Well, what kills me with Kyle Pitts is that he's on a bad team. I mean, the Falcons' offense, they've been competent, but I don't think it's a great offense. When I say bad, I mean they don't have a lot of weapons. Drake London's going to eat.
That's what I think. I think he's one receiver away, which could be that Calvin Ridley, who obviously is not in there this year. With Calvin Ridley, Drake London, Pitts, you might see a whole new freak of nature there because who are they going to guard? So that might leave him running wild free down the field, and he could have a monster year. But they don't have that. They don't have that this year, so
that's just what bothers me. Is
I don't think he's going to have a very good year this year.
If you're not getting so the biggest thing for me, honestly, was the regression at quarterback too. Because I mean, we're talking Marcus Mariota. We're not talking from Tennessee. We're just talking Marcus Mariota as getting older. He's a journeyman now. He's not really a starting quality quarterback. Now, I can't say a lot because Drake London's eating well. The fact that he's eating in that offense as a rookie, and Kyle Pitts isn't, is very troublesome. For Kyle Pitts, I'm a complete panic. I am selling him yesterday. He's gone. Get what you can get and run. I've seen a lot of absurd trades coming through with Kyle Pitts, though. That he's still getting high value in return. So I'm guessing people are still banking on him going nuts later this year. I'm going to go ahead and say it. I don't think he tops 600 yards this year. I'm just going to stay that out there. I think he's going to be the biggest bust of tight ends in the draft. You also got guys that you can stream. I'm a Commanders fan. I'm biased. I'm going to keep saying his name. Logan Thomas. Red zone target machine. Get that guy if you've got Kyle Pitts and put him in your lineup. Bench Kyle Pitts, shop him this week. I don't know what you got to do to get him off your team.
So in a couple of my leagues, I waited till the very end to draft a tight end. I stacked up on running backs, stacked up on receivers. I made sure my bench was good and zero tight end. So I drafted Gerald Everett in like the second to last round. He is available in all your leagues probably. If not, he's getting picked up soon.
Right.
But that's who I went with, and
so
I was scared, and now I'm not.
In Atlanta, I'm gonna keep picking on this guy, man, because I told people this before the draft. It's not on video, so I'm not gonna sit here and claim to be some smart guy that knew this. But man, I didn't want Kyle Pitts. I didn't think his ADP reflected what he's gonna do this year. He is performing at the tight end 35 right now. There's only how many teams in the NFL?
Yeah, not 35.
There's only 32, so he's behind some teams' second options at tight end, some teams' third options. I'm sorry if you got him. Kyle Pitts is not helping you out.
So yeah, you have backup tight ends outperforming Kyle Pitts.
Sell him. I'm just going to keep saying sell him. If I'm wrong, I'm going to fully own this. But Kyle Pitts is my biggest bust of the year. I don't want any shares of that. And if
we're not saying drop him.
Don't drop him, please.
You can get very good value in a trade. You can trade him, or you can stash him, see what happens. But definitely, he's probably not your guy.
Probably useless at this point. Well, hopefully if he booms, that's even better. You can either hope he keeps booming or try to get him at a high value at that point.
But if I have him, I'm trading.
I'm trading him right now. I'm panicked.
Right.
I'm super panicked. All right, so we talked about Derrick Henry, which he's big on still. I'm a little more panicked. Zeke, we're both panicked pretty high. It's very warranted. The Rams backfield, train wreck. I've always said it, split backfields or shit backfields. You don't want a lot of those. The only two that I'm getting is Green Bay and the Browns. CeeDee Lamb, no panic there yet. It's very low on that spectrum. And Kyle Pitts, I'm pulling all the alarms. But we're going to talk one more guy, and I know for a fact that we have very different opinions on this guy. I think he's in love with this guy, to be honest with you.
It's father time.
You got to know who we're going with at this point. He is a quarterback. He was drafted at ADP of 70 as your QB8. He is currently performing after 2 weeks as QB 30. That's QB 30. There's only 32 teams. We just covered this. That's not good. We're talking about good old
Tom Brady.
That's your guy,
All
man. Get started on him.
So my panic level on Tom Brady is not very high. Obviously, his line is not protecting him very well, and obviously he has a lot of injuries. Julio Jones is out, Godwin's out, Evans is out. Gage, I think he missed the first week or was limited. So the whole offense is banged up. I'm going to give him one more week. I think this week coming up, he tanks. They got Green Bay this week, and I don't think it's going to be a good outing for him. I think obviously with the Evans suspension, Godwin's not coming back anytime soon, and I think Julio did not even practice today either, so he has zero people to throw to. I don't think.
That's the battle of like the ancient quarterbacks. Come on, nobody wants to watch Aaron Rodgers and Brady go no more.
Right. So this week coming up is no Tom Brady, but I think after this week, I think you're going to see him bounce back as soon as he gets Evans back, as soon as he gets Jones back. So it starts getting his receivers back, and I think he will end up having a great year. I'm not freaking out on him at the moment. This week, do not start him, but after this week, I think he's back in your lineup.
So we're gonna be doing a start sit video, so we're not gonna talk too much about when I want you to play him, because here's the thing, I don't want you to play him. I am panicked at high alarm on Tom Brady. And we talked about this before the draft, that Tom Brady is way up there in age. I know, man, that guy is probably twice as young as I am, and he's way older than me. The guy's a physical freak of nature. At 45, he's out there still running around getting hit.
He still threw for 5,000 yards last year.
He did, but here's the difference I'm looking at this year is the Tampa Bay offensive line is atrocious this year. There's injuries, there's people to the left, it's bad. They're giving up you're not giving Tom Brady a lot of time. Now, we all know he's not the fleetest on foot. He's not going to give you a lot of rushing yards. So Tom Brady's either going to dump it off quick or he's going to get hit and sacked. His first 2 games this year, 18 of 27 for 212, 1 touchdown, 1 interception. That's against a decent Dallas defense. I'm going to give him a little pass on that one. Now we're going to talk about game 2, where he was 18 of 34 for 190 yards. Now, if we're talking waiver wire and what's out there and available, there's so many more options other than Tom Brady. I know the name Tom Brady is just, hey, that's what you want.
We know the Saints have Tom Brady's number.
They do.
For some reason, he doesn't. They won last week.
Shout out to Mike Evans, Mr. Boxing.
That was the first time out of I think it was the 5th matchup that he finally got the win, and he underperformed all the other 4 matchups. So
right. Now I just want to say this. We're going to go off subject for 5 seconds. Mike Evans, that's a dog. I want him on my team. I love what he does to Lattimore. That was awesome. 2 years in a row. Was it 2 out of 3 years he's gotten a fight with that guy?
bad blood.
It's probably because Lattimore owns him. But let's go to why Brady may be underperforming other than the offensive line. And that is his weapons are hurt. They're banged up. You got Mike Evans, Julio Jones, Chris Godwin, who I don't believe is 100% even when he came back. Russell Gage.
Yeah, Godwin came back way too early.
Way too early.
Should not have been playing.
That's going to be another topic, though. But right now, with Tom Brady, for me, I like other options. I like Jared Goff. I'm ahead of Tom Brady right now. I know he's available in your league. Carson Wentz probably isn't available anymore because he is absolutely booming. Tua's probably not available anymore. If you're looking for a spot start, I'm even going to say Joe Flacco right now. He's the 3rd leading passer in the NFL.
Well, I mean, when you throw the ball 50 times a game,
but that's what you want.
You're bound to put up some,
I will
big
say
passing numbers as long as you don't throw like 5 interceptions. But
right.
He's not doing that right now. So
I am panicked on Tom Brady. I think it's a pretty high level of panic. I said it before the season that I was down on Tom Brady this year. I didn't think that this was going to be a good year for him. There's a perfect storm going of things that are working against him. He may eventually pop up. You can't drop Tom Brady. I see a lot of people packaging Tom Brady in trades. Now, what you do with him is up to you. I personally am panicking on Tom Brady. I would be looking to find a replacement and move Tom Brady on from my team. So,
I'm keeping him. I'm stashing him.
He's stashing him. That's fine. I play in all the leagues that I
I'm
play.
gonna wait it out. I'm gonna, like you said, I'm gonna find a filler for the next couple weeks, and then we'll wait till that Kansas City game and see how that big of a shootout that's gonna be, and so that's gonna be where he turns it around.
I'm hoping that with the 6 players that we highlighted, I'm really hoping that you guys found some value in those players. If you have them on your team, you don't have to take our advice. This is just our opinion, of course, but that's what we're here for. If you have questions about these guys, feel free to comment. We will be answering every question in the comments. I promise you that. If you leave a lineup question in the comments, we are going to get right back to you. Like I said, we're new to this. We don't have a lot of viewers right now. We're working on doing that. So be patient with us. We're going to get you content at least 3-4 videos a week. Start sits. We're going to be doing all the stuff, the full Sunday lineup, Monday night, Thursday night. Who to get off the waiver wire. This is all stuff that hopefully you'll find value in. But for now, that's going to do it for this video.
I'll throw one more guy out there.
All right, let's do a bonus.
One more guy. We got a bonus guy. That's going to be Mr. Alvin Kamara.
Okay.
So, obviously, week 1, 7.6 points, whatever it was. Week 2, he's hurt, didn't play. I think he's going to be fine. He's a focal point of that offense, and he will be absolutely fine. So don't freak out about Kamara. Keep him in your lineup. I know he practiced today, so he's going to be back this week. And
don't sell tomorrow.
Just keep him.
Don't sell tomorrow.
He's got a good playoff run coming for you guys. If you make it to the playoffs, Atlanta, Cleveland, Philly, kind of a tough matchup, but
you know, and so I'm glad you said Philly because I was big on Philly's defense this year. I'm going to say this, and I'm just going to make a bold prediction just for fun. I think Philly wins the Super Bowl this year. Just going to say it. So you can. That's on camera.
do not take that advice.
You can take it wherever you want to take it. It's on camera.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching. Like I said,
hit like,
subscribe, share.
Tell your friends.
We will be back shortly.
Tomorrow. So tomorrow we are going to be posting our video of the Thursday night game, your starts, your sits, what we think is going to happen in that game. Each week also now we are going to be doing our boom bust of the week. So we're going to take a player that you probably are going to have in your lineup that we think is going to bust. We're also going to take a player that you don't have in your lineup possibly that we think is going to boom. Last week, my boom pick, I'm going to just keep bragging about this, was I'm going to draw St. Brown. I missed it by 3 yards. And a touchdown, whatever. But if you started him, you won your league probably. At least that week. But yeah, we're going to be doing that. But we're also, like I said, we're going to be answering a lot of questions. So if you guys have them, please feel free to drop them. But that's going to do it for the Shark Tank today. Got anything else you want to add?
That's it. It's good. We will see
Call
you
it a
guys
day.
tomorrow. Thank you very much.
Tomorrow it is. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a great night. Go Commanders.